Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Your host Alvaro, and what an exciting Friday to bring you another successful entrepreneur to talk about luxury real estate. Now for this, we're going to be flying all the way to New York to meet with our friend William McLarnon. He is a successful luxury real estate agent with the Gold team, which is part of the Corcoran Group. And I'm sure that if you're familiar with the show $1 Million Listing on Bravo TV, you've probably seen him in there. And he's gonna tell us all about what it entails for you to become a superstar agent in such a demanding and hectic industry, especially New York. Now, prior to real estate, he was also a successful model and athlete. So we're gonna discuss all the different skill set and how to bring it all into real estate and specifically luxury real estate. So let's get him in. How are things up in New York this time of the year?
Things are great. We're in the summer market now. There's people, still people moving, job changes. Some people need the extra bedroom. They need to upgrade. So there's definitely activity still. But yeah, we're preparing for the fall market. Where there's going to be a lot of activity and yeah, always working, getting deals done.
Love that. So you will say that this time of the year there has been a good transition, and even though it's summer,
yeah,
the market is responding all right?
Absolutely. So we always one good indicator for the Manhattan market, we look at the Olson report, which is $4 million plus sales or contract sign. And we're in July now, but for most of June, we saw over 30 contracts per week for about 4 to 6 weeks, which is a strong number. A lot of buyers buying in new developments, turnkey apartments ready to go. So yeah, there was this last spring market was very healthy, a lot of transactions, and even the summer market has been, still staying steady.
Prior to real estate, you were a model.
But yeah, I was a successful model. I shot Vogue Italia, I did Ralph Lauren, Kohl's, Bloomingdale's, just to name a few.
So tell us a little bit about that transition, right? Because with Super Luxury Group, we work with a lot of influencers, with models.
That's a great question, because you're making me think back when I did my transition. All in all, there's two ways to look at it. So, if you can make the transition, and unfortunately, a lot of models they don't end up out of that industry. I mean, it's great because you can use all those interpersonal skills, use your charm, your communication skills, and translate that into the real estate field. And yeah, a lot of people, they don't end up making the transition, but yeah, for me, I'm thinking back to, I got into real estate 2015, and I did model an additional 2 years after that. But yeah, I mean, at first it was a little challenging. Before modeling, I did do sales, so I did have kind of like a baseline skill set on doing on sales when I was even younger. But listen, it's a process, right? So if you're willing to invest 1 to 2 to 3 years and you really want it, I highly recommend it. The real estate industry, it applies to everything in life. And, if you can become a successful real estate agent or broker, then, it will open a lot of doors for you.
Now, I want to talk about the transition, but now this time of the year, right? So successful real estate agent, you are part of a really nice, strong team in New York, the Gold team. You've been appearing on the $1 Million Listing. So how did all that affect your career?
100%. No, great question. So, even prior to the TV show, we had a pretty strong business, pretty strong team. But yeah, I mean, listen, everything's exposure, and from getting that national TV presence, stuff just builds up, and you'll get clients that you'll never get if it weren't for TV. And And so, yeah, we just kept building and building. And yeah, here we are 5, 6 years later. So it was, it was a great experience and a lot of exposure and learned a lot.
Right. So what would be one recommendation for you for anybody that is currently like dabbling into the space and thinking, well, should I join like big brokerage, more boutique, but with bigger access to homes and clientele? Like what would be an approach for you?
No, great question. So people starting out, this is what I always recommend. It's listen, it's a tough industry to break in, but it's 100% worth it. You make your own schedule, you have flexibility, and but you gotta want it. So what I recommend for anyone starting out, join a team. You know, get on a team. That way you can learn from a senior broker, or you can learn from other colleagues, and you know you'll be put on some properties, or you'll start learn. The only way to really learn is to do. So in those beginning phases, whether it takes 2 years, 3 years, like you get all that experience, and then next thing you know, then you're working with your own clients, and then you have that baseline structure. So you know what I recommend anyone starting out, join a team. You know, learn from them. You know, shadow your senior broker, shadow other brokers on the team. That's honestly, getting experience is probably the number one thing, because once you have the experience, you'll know what to do in XYZ situations. So
Mhm. So tell me a little bit about what's been some of the most difficulties of being in this space.
oh yeah, good question. Listen, there's a lot of difficulties. So okay, let's say you're on the listing side. You know, I would say most important thing, pricing. If you price the property wrong, or if you price it a little too much, a little too ambitious, your property might sit on the market. And so you have to be very delicate and very calculated, that if you're going to bring this listing on, you want to make sure you have all the proper comps, all previous sales in the area, and really it's data, right? So use all that data to make the clean, proper decision. Now, a lot of sellers, they're always over ambitious and they want a higher number, and that's fine. Sometimes it's okay to price a little higher, because depending on the property, does it have outdoors, private outdoor space? Is the kitchen updated, bathroom updated? There's certain things that people are looking for, and they might buy it, market value, or if you have multiple offers, then you might be able to achieve that higher number. But my best advice is, just be very, very calculated with your price when you go on the market.
Mm, I like that. So, on a personal level, what is something that you as a person have developed and really find like wow throughout all these years working in real estate?
Uh, yeah, great question. So, yeah, I'm about 7 years deep. I would say having the confidence to know what to do in every situation, especially this Manhattan market, and I'm sure even in the Miami market, or any large market, you know, um, you're dealing with like the best of the best. So you really, I would say, having the fortitude and having the confidence to know what to do in this situation, what to do in that situation, and yeah, throughout the years, I've developed a gut instinct. Like, if this happens, I'm gonna do this. If that happens, I'm gonna do that. So I think having that gut instinct, what to do in different situations, whether you're on the buy side, you're on the sell side, it all comes with experience.
And I was actually listening to something that it was very cool. It says, confidence is arrogance under control, right? Because this is an industry where there is so much ego and everybody's like, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. So that arrogance all of a sudden starts to become less and less under control. And that's when you, instead of coming up as confident, you come as arrogant. So it's important on a personal level to always stay grounded and keep that control. And I know that you're an athlete, so I know that
Hmm.
sports helps a lot with that. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the fun activities that you like doing in New York?
100%. Yeah. So like you remind me, like, when I was younger, I ran track, I played basketball, I played football, all those years. And, as you grow up into business, all that kind of disappears. You're working every day, you're working 15 hours, especially as a broker, you're always on the move. So, I had to find some time or an outlet to kind of like, you know, do something different. So, I'm a big fitness advocate. I lifting weights, doing some heavy powerlifting, helps clear my mind. I'll either do early in the morning or after work. Running by the water here. We don't have a lot of nature in Manhattan, but you can run by the Hudson. There's some parks, Central Park. Yeah, I try to stay engaged. I just lost a lot of weight too, by the way. I just lost about 30 pounds, and so I had to be proactive.
Wow.
I did it through weightlifting and then doing a caloric deficit every day. But everything's a formula. So,
right. And a lot of times you connect with people on the lifestyle level, right? That's another
yes.
important component. So
Oh, yeah.
instead of just having to go the route of, oh, let's have a drink, let's have dinner, let's have this, you can always try to reroute them to something that you connect on a deeper level, which is that lifestyle. I want you to tell me, what does really luxury means to you?
Yeah, when I think of luxury, I think of lifestyle, high end, um, you know, comfort, passion.
We've asked a lot of times this question, and it's the first time I hear passion.
Yeah.
And I love the word passion. And sometimes, it's about building a business or a project that fuels your passion, because passion is the ultimate thing that will drive you forward, right? I was talking yesterday to this lady that is having a baby, and it's like, oh my God, it's like I'm working 24 hours and plus having the kid, and I feel so energized. And I'm like, wow, imagine if we always worked like if we have those babies, right? Because sometimes we just get tired, sometimes we just don't do things with that much love. But if you are actually looking into things with that perspective of like, wow, this is my baby, this is what brings me passion, this is what fulfills me, this is the ultimate luxury, right? So it's a cool concept.
Yeah, it gives you energy when you have no energy, right? Like
Right.
Wild.
And that, look, it could be a nice home with a beautiful
Yeah.
view, right? They
Yeah.
arrive and it gives you that energy. So that's another thing. So it depends on what you're looking at, but passion is a good word. I love it.
Yeah.
So, all right, look, listen, it's Friday. I know you have lots of things going on. So I wanted to wrap it up by asking you biggest takeaway for anybody that wants to take that next level in their business.
Sure, absolutely. The last couple of years, it's really, really clicked for me. And my number one advice is get around the best of the best. Get around the market makers. Get around the people making a difference, because that attitude, it's contagious. That level of success. Get around someone who's very really successful. Someone's like top of the top, and you'll start just copying them and learning from them, and that's it. Get around the movers and shakers. Get around the movers and shakers.
Right. That's right. Let's go.
Yep.
I love that. And it's so true, right? It's so true in all levels. I actually have this concept of the relationship vision board. The same way that people have their vision boards or their vision, it's about doing the same concept, but with your relationships. Like, what are the people that you envision doing something with? So I 100% agree with you. So let's get everybody all fired up on wanting to meet the best of the best out there. And let's keep going. Anything else that you would like to share, my friend?
No, listen, thank you for having me. Really good questions. It reminds me of everything. But like anyone who's thinking about starting real estate, listen, it's not easy, but you can do it. You just got to believe in yourself and get around the right people to help you learn.
Well, thank you so much for your time, William. Everybody watching or listening to this, to make sure follow the legend, follow this guy, William. Thank you again, my friend.